Good day, everybody. Welcome back to the flight deck. We're continuing our flight from Nagoya, Japan to Doha in Qatar. As you can see, we're on the arrival now, or we're just coming up to it. We're going to be entering at Alcan here, but we're getting pretty close to where we're going to be starting our descent, so we can go through a little bit about the approach and we can get her set up. First thing we're going to do is drop down here. We'll go over to our approach page. We're going to be doing a full flaps 30 arrival with a reference speed of 157, so we'll select that and put that in there. That gets that set up so we have it on the display, which we can come up here and take a look at there. So flaps 30, reference speed of 157. That's our over the numbers just before we touch down. So our actual approach speed is going to be a little bit higher at ref plus 5, so it'll be 162. So we get a bit of a convoluted route as we come in. We'll be flying along the path here, then we'll start our descent. We're going to be flying out north of the airfield, past it onto the southwest side, down and around, and landing. Weather has been pretty much winds out of the south for most of the day. It's currently still that way right now. And just checking the weather. As I said, winds are about 350 at 90. I just want to make sure that we are correct. Yeah, winds are about 350 at 90, and QNH is 1013, so standard pressure on the QNH, which is good. So I'll bring up the map where we sit at the moment. There she is. So you can see we're coming across the Persian Gulf here. We're going to be entering in to the arrival here at Alcan, and then we're going to be flying down and around. So if we come over, take a look, you can see us coming in. We have some restrictions that we've got to hit all the way down. We've got a speed restriction at Normu. We've got a lot of aboves here, which is fine as we come around, and then we'll be flying down here. Our first hard restriction is 11,000 feet and 230 knots here at Losin. We'll carry on downwards. We have to be 220 knots and between 3,500 and 2,500 feet here at Dasik. Now we're going to make the turn in, and we'll be landing on 34 right, which is right here. Once we're down here on 34 right, we're going to taxi in, and we'll probably exit off about halfway up here. And we have the cargo area right here, so it's just off the runway. And that will be where we are headed. Alright, so again, everything is looking good. We can get 1013 in the standby for when we switch over, and we'll be all set to go. So as mentioned, our first hard one that we have to be down around here is 11,000 feet. So that's what we will dial in first as our initial descent altitude. But we do have that speed restriction at Getoff of 250 knots. So that's what we're coming up for. We're 8 miles away, so we're going to begin slowing down now. I'll switch that over because it wants us in knots. Start bringing that speed back. 250. And we're going to drop that down to 40 miles just so it's easier to see everything. So speed's coming back. And we're going to fly down the arrival as it is published. So just after we make the turn here at Datal, we will start our descent down to 11,000 feet for our initial. It's been a good flight. We have had no real issues, no weather issues. And she's gone fairly well without any aircraft issues as well, and it's been night the entire way, so we've basically sat in the middle of the wee hours of the morning for the entire flight. But everything is looking good. We're coming around. The speed is good, so we can start dropping our flaps here if we wanted to. We're not going to do so. We'll just hold 250. We may go flaps 1 just to start the process. Alright, so flaps 1 selected. There we go. We'll help that nose stay down in a more optimal flight attitude. That dome light off now as we're coming in. So what we can do is we can set up for the ILS. We're going to be landing again on 3-4 right. It's got a course heading of 336 and 110.1. So we'll go into the RadNav page. There's 110.1. That is good. It's got the correct runway, ILS 3-4 right. We're going to tune in the Doha VOR of 114.4. And we'll throw that over here in VOR 2. And that can be a reference point for us. So make sure VOR 2 is on. There you go. Airport's 51 or so miles away. We are flying away from it at the moment as we follow the course. Yeah, it would be nice if we could split screen. We are once again in the salty simulation 747. And I will be trying the Asobo with the AAU2 update, see how that does. I'm going to try to do that before the next flight. We'll see what happens. Alright, so there's the turn towards the tower. As I said, once we make the turn there, we will start our descent downwards. So if you're new to the stream, thanks for coming by, thanks for watching. We will remind everyone that all of our live streams are community flights. Viewers are free to come and fly along with us. Wednesdays and Sundays are on multiplayer on the Northern European server on Microsoft Flight Simulator. Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays are on the VATSIM network, so you do need an account there and you do need to be up on your ATC skills. But we fly everything from general aviation airplanes all the way up to the big airliners such as the 747 freighter. And you're more than welcome to come and join in. I'll put the link into the Discord, into the chat for our Discord. You can also find the link in the description below, but you're more than welcome to come along, say hi, figure out what we're flying when, and if we're flying something that interests you, you're more than welcome to come along. Currently, at the moment, we are flying the ATR 600, ATR 72-600 on Mondays. Tuesdays is the A320. Wednesdays is the DC-3. Fridays is the Boeing 737. Saturdays is we're back in the Airbus A320, and Sundays we're currently flying the 747F freighter. So it's all looking good. So here's our turn, and we're going to be starting down once we level off. There's the town all lit up there, looking very nice. Alright, once again we want 11,000 feet at low send. I want 230 knots by the time we get down there, which is more than fine. So let's get 11,000 feet in here. And we're going to vertical speed it down and set the banana up kind of as our point. And we'll just adjust our vertical speed as we go. So there's us leveling out. The airport is over in this direction. So we're going to go into vertical speed mode, and we'll start down at 2,000 feet per minute. We'll see where the banana comes in. We're also going to go flaps 5. Again, we're starting our descent now, so we're going to want to do a little bit of speed control. So flaps 5 selected. That'll help manage our speed. Puts additional drag out. Alright, so there's the missed approach. Basically on this route we got to be at 3,000 feet and then 4,000 feet, maximum of 230 knots. So we'll set our missed approach at 4,000 and our speed at 230 if we need it. And of course puts the airport over here, or actually just back over here because you go out and around. We're working well on the descent. So there's our banana. I'd actually probably decrease it a bit, but I'd rather do it when we get a little bit closer. Okay, everything is looking good. And no weather here. Obviously, we're out in the desert, so we should have a pretty clear view for landing. Also, as we're descending down, if you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing, liking the video, joining in, and all that good stuff. And if you really want to support the channel, help with some of the aircraft and airports and stuff that we do and we fly to and all that stuff, you can join the channel and get some perks. There's neat little badges in the chat, and we got some custom emojis and some other stuff coming as well. So it's time to do our approach check. So ATIS, we've got it. We're using runway 34 right. Winds are going to be slight left crosswind at about 9 knots. FMC arrival procedures are all entered in, and we are good there. We've done our briefing. Recall is checked, and there's nothing there. Altimeters will switch over at transition level, which at this airport is flight level 150. Reference speed is set 157 knots. Minimums we can put in. Minimums on this, we're going to be doing a Cat 1 D class. It is going to be 239 feet, and we'll set that on the barrow. 239, and we'll round up to 240. Passenger signs we're not worried about. Auto brakes we'll set to 2, and lights will turn on when we get to 10,000. Alright, Wilson has the speed restriction. And we'll be cleared down to 2,500 feet. Platform altitude is 2,500 feet. Normally they do radar vectors to bring us in, but I've just got the continuous approach plugged in. Once we're turned in facing the runway, we will make sure that we activate approach mode. Not too far before that, or else it has a tendency not to capture properly. We'll see how it does. We're looking pretty good here. There's Lowson. That's our 11-foot or 11,000 foot mark where we're trying to get to. So if we were to straighten this up, we should be down to 11,000 feet before that. So shouldn't be too hard to sort that out. AZM is the identifier, and it just kicked in here. There's AZM. So that is looking good. Of course, there's not much to see if we pop outside. We are coming down. There's the cockpit there. With the guys looking very dark. Let me just make it out there against the city lights. There's the airport. So we're going to drop our range down to 20 now. Actually, we'll hold that back just until we get down to 11,000. I want to keep that in view. You can see the flight plan we're going to take as we get ourselves around. There's the airport right there. Looking too bad. I think we flew in here once a while ago and we had a lot of dust and everything. That made it fairly interesting. I'm going to arm the speed brakes just to get it done so I don't forget. I don't think we're going to need them again. We got a good run here to get down to 2,500, so I'm not too worried about that. HH 911, which is right there, is where we should intercept the glide slope. So as long as we're down at 2,500 on this stretch here, we should be good to come in under the glide and intercept it fairly easily. There's our turn to catted. We'll be able to go to flaps 20 once we get down to 230 knots. And that's looking pretty good. Just takes us right down to 11,000 a couple miles before. Not seeing much in the way of sandstorms or anything. So even with that wind, it's pretty clear visibility out here today. So we're going to be descending down through transition, so we'll just switch over now. 1013 is set. Runways. There's another airport right here. There's two. There's OTBD, which is Doha International, and then there's this one, which is Hamid International, and they're kind of like, this is our one here, and then there's this one over here. So you gotta be kind of careful about where you're going in on. So as we come up to the 10-mile mark here for Qatar, I'm going to slow us down to that 230 just to get her in so that we're down and kind of stable at speed by the time we make that connect point there. So there's 10 miles. So we're going to bring the speed back now to 230 knots. And we'll go to flaps 20. So 245, once we're through there, we can go flaps 10. Engines have scrolled back to idle. It's 247, 246, 245. All right, we're below 245, so we'll go flaps 10. That'll add some drag. We'll start slowing a little bit quicker. And once we're below 235, we can go flaps 20. There's 235, flaps 20. That'll add a nice bit of drag there. You can see the other runway coming in there for the other airport, but we're landing on the one out by the water. Alright, so there's our turn. There's 2,000 to go. There's Doha all lit up below. We're now going to be flying kind of in a south-southeast direction, parallel to the air runways, down over the city. Coming up on 11,000. There we are, 11,000 feet coming up. As soon as we pass Lowson, we'll go down to 2,500 and begin our descent down to there. So 1 mile to go. We are in altitude hold. Set this down to 2,500. $2,500 is set where you are through, so vertical speed. There we go. And we're going to want it at dance, so we'll decrease our descent rate. About 1,000 feet per minute there. So I see the point come in. We're holding 230. We're going to have to be at 220 by Dansk, and we'll just hold our 20 degree flap setting. The airport coming into view. Yeah, we'll take it to 1,000. There we go. Looks good. This is the point here at HH 911 where we have to be at 2,500 for the intercept. We'll be here 2,500 somewhere around here, so we'll be good coming around the corner. Alright, so auto brakes are set. Speed brake is armed. through 10,000 feet, so lights are on, turn off lights are on. We'll get the wing lights and the logo lights on as well. So we're all nice and brightly illuminated. There we go. You can see a little bit of light from the town reflecting on it. Looking good. Bring that up to 1,100 feet per minute again. Bring that banana back in. Glide, slope, and localizer are showing. Everything else is looking really good. Air is dead calm. And we're going to switch over to 10 miles on the range. There we go. 7,500 feet. And we'll bring the speed back to 220. Everything is looking good. We'll make the turn. Should get ourselves leveled out at 2,500. We'll let the FMS and the nav system take us around the corner, and once we're around the corner and wings level, we'll activate approach mode. Should be good. The airport's about 11 miles behind us, off our left shoulder. Currently 19 degrees. It says it's 29, or at least the last weather that came through said it was 29 degrees out. So we're expecting that to climb 20. Yeah. Probably be a lot warmer once we're actually on the ground itself. So glide slope is starting to increase. I'm going to increase our descent to 1,200 feet. There's the turn at Dasik. We're heading into Lagama. Through 5,000 feet, just descending below the glide slope now. Down on the industrial part of town by the looks of it. So speed brakes are armed, landing gear, we got to do flaps, and crew, well, the only crew is in the cockpit, so we are good there. Coming up for 4,000 feet, 1,500 to go. Speed of 220 is good. There's the airport. That's the one airport there. We're going for this one, and we're landing on 34 right, which is the far one on the right there, out over the water. All right, 1,000 to go. Fuel is good, 36 tons of fuel. Our gross weight is well below our maximum landing weight, so we are good there as well. Making our turn, nothing to see out the window now. We're facing out over the Persian Gulf. Complete absence of anything out there. We should see the lights of the airport and the edge of town come in a second. There's our turn. There we are. There's the town. There's our runway coming in. Right there. As we roll level, we'll let her get set up heading into the next waypoint at Latso. Let her come level and we can go to approach mode. So localizer capture. And altitude is on altitude hold and glide slope armed. Glide slope is moving. Winds, as mentioned, slightly out of the right. That should come around to be slightly out of the left, I think, by the time we get down. Speed's coming back to 200 knots. Below 210 we'll go flaps 25. There we go, below 210, flaps 25. And we're holding for glide slope. Capture. Eight miles out. There we go. We're heading down, so we're going to set our speed now to 162. 162. Gear down. Flaps full. Speed's coming back. So gear down 3 green, flaps are full, speed brakes and arm lights are on, cabin is prepared, and recall clear. 1,800 feet to go. .14 wind. So she's starting to come around to the north. Might not come all the way through to a headwind. Speed, the wind speed's starting to drop. Speed's at reference, or approach speed. Yeah, we are looking good. $1,000 to go. .500 feet, I'll come off autopilot, and at about 100 to go, we'll come off the auto throttles. Looking good. .500. Autopilot disconnect. I have control. Slight push from the right. Landing. 50, 40. Get that nose down. Reverser's up. There we go. 120 knots. $90 knots. $70 knots. Reverser stowed. Manual braking. We're going to go up a little bit further. We're going to get off at Alpha 8. Just going to roll forward and then into the ramp area, which is the cargo area. Alright, so let's taxi light on. These can come off. I'll leave those on. Strobes will come off. Slowly work our way around. Turn on the APU. Get the speed brakes down, flaps coming up, and where are we going to go? So out here is the cargo area. I think at this point we just pull forward and find a spot. It's not well illuminated, but we have a line here, so we're just going to take it and pull all the way forward. See how far forward we can go. Looks like we can go pretty far. This gives me a view of the end point here for the taxi. And here we are. Welcome to Doha, everybody. So landing gear and our landing lights and strobes are off. Flaps are up. Speed brakes disarm. Weather radar does not exist. Hydraulic pumps come off. Parking brake is confirmed on. Let's see. APU is on. Ground power is available. Excellent. So we'll turn on ground power. We'll turn on the APU bleed air. Fuel control switches. The engine's shut down. External power again is connected. Thank you. Window heat can come off, and engine bleeds will come off as well. I'll get a little bit of light on the inside of the cockpit. Oh, we've got to turn off these. That can come off. We'll leave the nav lights on and the logo lights on. There we go. Looks good. We'll put the control tower over the cockpit. So it was a long flight, but we made it all the way to Doha. Thanks for joining us. Next weekend we should be heading out of here to our next airport on the sequence. We're again a little bit behind on the Formula One series, but we are trying to do what we can to make up to it. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you on the next one. Bye for now.